when internet bidding first came out in the cattle sector, a lot of the people that were professionals in the industry looked at it. You're just giving an excuse for somebody to stay home. I want them on the seats. People give more if they're here. And to an extent, maybe that's true. But at the same time, with as busy as people have gotten, as complex as everybody's schedules are, giving somebody the opportunity to buy that maybe they wouldn't have bought at all is huge. And as the next generation moves in, as people become more familiar with technology, that marketing and that push with the technology has become more and more valuable. And I don't think the internet is ever going to take the place of people coming to sales. There's a large majority of people, they want to come to the sale anyway. But if they can't, for maybe the kids got a ball game, or they're feeding cows, it's the middle of February in North Dakota and there's a blizzard, it provides that level of service to help them long term stay a customer with an operation.
They're one payday a year.
Yes.
Like, you are there, and they're already planning their next auction by the time you get to their production sale. I've been doing sales for 17 years. I'm a little beside myself with just the experience that our current team has. We have new people that are coming in that are excited and ready to go. And we have experienced people that have been here, and they're at LiveAg because they wanted to give their customers something more.
That's a head-on. We live it. The LiveAg Podcast. Quality cattle deserve premium prices. Consign to a LiveAg video auction and capitalize on today's strong market demand. Our upcoming auctions are on your screen and available online at live-ag.com. Contact your local rep to get started. Now, here are your hosts, Ty DeCordova and Casey Mabry.
Welcome back to the We Live It podcast here. Man, we're joined today with Blake and Margo from the Purebred team at LiveAg, and pretty excited to sit down and talk to you guys. You guys have been extremely busy, and I've not necessarily been to any of these sales in person, but I've been watching them online and definitely on the different platforms you guys are out there. Why don't you guys talk to me real quick about what's been going on? Like I said, y'all have been extremely busy in watching these sales. I bet it's been crazy.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate. We got fired up just over a year ago. Knocked it out, started off with Express, and then had a lot of customers fall in behind them, and trusted us right from the beginning, and had a really strong spring going into 2025, and turned out really well. As we got started this fall, we've had some pretty awesome events with like the Churchill Hereford dispersal. That was an event for the record books. I don't know if the Hereford breed had ever seen anything like that. So it was we were very fortunate to get to be a part of it. And just rolling into the bull sales here in the southern part of the United States here early in the fall. We've got some great operations coming on board with us later in the fall, but I've had some notable events so far. Buffalo Creek sale on Saturday. We were fortunate enough to sell 60% online. They were extremely pumped up. Had a great day at Dudley's. I heard, I wasn't there. Barber and Bob Neighbors were there doing a great job. They had the best sale they'd ever had. Then we rolled into Express just there on Monday. They had a tremendous bull sale, so it's been great. Very fortunate.
No, I've seen some of those, and it's been nuts. I mean, like that Churchill deal you talked about. I mean, that's just wild to see how much support there was behind that program. And then so 60% on that Buffalo Creek Red Angus. What's normal? What do you see online?
It varies. I mean, you can see, little to no action at some events because maybe they've got a huge crowd. Their buyer base is right there in person. And then you'll see events that are like that where, Clint Witherspoon that runs that deal, he's been very progressive in buying genetics from very front end programs across the country, and people recognize that. So he has a very nationwide buyer base that came in, and that's where we were lucky enough to pick up, and they went through our platform with LiveAg, and it really helped him to have a tremendous day. There at the auction.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine how much exposure it brings, like more exposure than normal, especially if you're kind of in a remote area, where most of these ranches are probably going to be in a pretty decent or pretty remote area to where it's hard to get into there. But as you start to kind of get some national exposure in that way, Margo, what have you been up to?
Hanging out with Blake in Montana. That was an experience.
Yeah, we went on that Montana Angus Tour. It was a blast. So it was something her and I had never got to do. So it was really exciting to go up there and network with people, see a lot of different operations. It was amazing. We were all basically within 200 miles of Butte, Montana, and the different types of cattle, the different kind of cattle, the different types of operations. It was really, really interesting to me to get to see, everybody's got a different idea of what they think works for them or what does work for them. And it was pretty cool to see a lot of those
it's pretty
things.
typical to find a cattleman that's pretty opinionated and proud of what they do,
Yeah.
I
but which is
thoroughly,
great.
thoroughly enjoyed the Montana Angus. I've never been on an Angus tour. That was my first experience. They had 6 buses of people. I didn't get to partake on that fun, but I was impressed with the fact how much work it takes to clean up your farm, to host 600 people for a matter of an hour or maybe a lunch. Or
So how many different spots was there?
I think we ended up going to
We had to
probably
go to
12.
No, we went to 7 the second day. So it would, I bet we were close to 16, 18 stops
Oh, wow.
when it was all said and done.
It was so cool.
So they would tell me about this deal because I didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the Montana Angus Tours. It's a really historic tour. They've been doing it for something like 35, 40 years. And it moves around Montana every year. And they in different regions, they decide they're going to highlight a lot of the breeders in that area. So everybody stays in a central spot. And most everybody jumps on buses every morning. And you go tooling through the countryside, stop in and spend half hour, 45 minutes at one spot, stop in another spot, eat lunch, look at their cattle. And every place, they've got a little deal set up to tell you about their operation. They've got a little display of a sampling of their herd. And it's a really cool way to highlight a program, and to highlight things without maybe in a little more of a personal way. It's a great way for people to network, to meet each other.
That's impressive.
There were people there that were on like anniversary trips, or like there were a couple. I was floored.
Well, if you're an enthusiast in this business,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm telling you, y'all are doing it for work, and I know you love it that way, but there's a lot of people that this is their pleasure and their hobby, and they're enthusiasts, and they want to go see them, And so the cool thing is they do it with as a family, and those are family operations that you're traveling around, and us that work in the industry, man, those people that are bringing their wives along and their kids along, it's cool because we got to continue to do
And
this.
they were from, I think they had 7 or 8 different countries.
Yeah, 7
but
or 8 different countries
wow.
were there.
The cool part is every time I stopped talking to them, I'm like, what state are you from? I assumed when we first got there, like it was Montana. Like, no, every state.
There was something
awesome.
like, and I'm sure I'm missing this by a little bit, something like 40 states were represented, somewhere in that realm.
Oh, wow.
And so
was
they're
pretty cool.
really cool contingency. A lot of people really enthused about Angus cattle. We had a great time.
Yeah, that's good. And it's probably a good place for you guys to network and kind of spread the word on that. So as far as the sales that you guys have, let's just level it up real quick. You guys started this deal out, in a very short period of time, and then got to really get a whole bunch of sales and selling them high and selling them good, getting a lot of exposure out there. Let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, Margo, what do you think's kind of attributed some of the success you guys have had?
It's our team at the end of the day. It's the people that you're here with. It's the people that you trust to be at your sale. We are so lucky to have new and old members. I say old members, but people who are experienced. I've been doing sales for 17 years. I'm a little beside myself with just the experience that our current team has. We have new people that are coming in that are excited and ready to go. And we have experienced people that have been here and they're at LiveAg because they wanted to give their customers something more. And we can do that. So.
Yeah, Blake, you talked a little bit earlier about tech and, some of the things that you guys have. How do you feel about what's been going on?
I mean, what I think, and maybe Margo will correct me, but the way I look at it is there's 5, 6 companies that they all broadcast production sales. We didn't reinvent the wheel, but what we are able to do is provide a great level of technology with the best team that you can find in the business, people that are experienced, trained, and able, that you trust on, that a breeder can trust on sale day, because at the end of the day, that's their day of the year. And so if we know that if we take care of the customer, that customer takes care of us. And as long as we take care of them, we're going to keep that business. And it's a long-term relationship, because not only are these people our customers, but at least in my case, most of those people are my friends.
Yeah.
You know, those are the people I want to do business with. I've done business with, and then I built those relationships with, and Margo's the same way. And we're hoping, you know, long term, that's why we're able to keep those relationships, is because of that.
Yeah, and you're probably bringing on teammates and people on that are kind of, you know, illustrate the same type of a deal. Not just people that can go in there and push buttons in video, or, you know, click a button or whatever. Actually bring some service. Probably bring a buyer with you too.
Sure, try.
Yeah, and try to get that whole deal there. So, no, I think it's been great. And like I said, I mean, from the outside looking in, the purebred world's a little bit different than what I necessarily focus on all the time. But I do have clients out there that you guys also service that way. And it's like I said, I've watched some of those sales, and they've been selling high. So, what other things you guys have going on that you see out there?
You know, we're in the middle we're starting October, you know, one of the busiest months on the purebred side in the fall. So Margo and I are running pretty hard right now. You know, I've been on the road real hard, not only seeing people, but, you know, talking to people, new business, and networking and stuff, as well as other sales. And as we move through October and November, we've got some big events on the calendar that will go well, that people will recognize some name brands. And then, you know, obviously we're selling for the spring, and, you know, building those relationships and talking to those people to work on the best marketing plan for them, you know, going forward in the spring. Because it's not one size fits all. You know, everybody gets a marketing package, everybody needs something, but everybody maybe has a different goal and has a different thing. And so we're able, because of our team and what is offered through LiveAg, we're able to build a marketing package to fit. It's not just online bidding. It's not just somebody showing up with TVs on sale day. It's a, you know, full circle marketing.
Profit-focused genetics backed by generations of discipline. That's Worthington Angus in Dadeville, Missouri. Their 7th annual fall sale is Saturday, November 1st at noon at the farm, featuring cattle that consistently earn premiums. Can't be there? No problem. Register to bid remotely with LiveAg. Just scan the QR code or hit the link below. Request a catalog at worthingtonangus.com. Worthington Angus, where discipline meets proven genetics.
Yeah, let's touch on that for a second. So let's say, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not my world, so it's just really for me to understand it, maybe some of these viewers to kind of get it too. Let's say I've never done a video sale before, and I sell purebred bulls, and I've had my sale in whatever, central Wyoming for the last 30 years. I call you guys up. What do I expect?
You know, the big thing, like when somebody calls me and I talk to them for the first time, is I like to learn what they've been doing, how they've been doing things, and what has worked for them. You know, you don't want to go into somebody's operation the first time they're using LiveAg and totally reinvent the whole wheel. But we're able to go in there, we're able to provide a service for the online bidding. And if, you know, maybe they want to have a video sale, well, great. We can help them with the TV. We can help them with, you know, playing the videos for them. You know, if they need, you know, I live in the middle of nowhere, that's fine. I'll bring a Starlink. You know, we can come up with those things that help to, that help them better where they're at, without maybe having to totally change everything.
Yeah, so how complex is that? Let's say I don't know anything about it. I can barely run a phone. But my son said that, hey, you need to bring this out there because, you know, they saw bulls bringing more money somewhere else, and they're selling everything in person, and they are in the middle of central Wyoming, and they want to get 60% of their sales online because they saw somebody bringing more money. How complex is it?
For them as the breeder, it's not that complex. You know, that's what they rely on us for. And if they provide us the information that they're using to build their catalog, if they're already videoing their cattle, most everybody in the business does, we use that information and we build an online catalog. We build a video page for them that caters to their cattle. And then we use that as a marketing outlet to help promote their sale.
And everything we do for them is customizable. So like whatever is important to them, whatever EPDs are important to them, whatever is directly important to them, we can highlight that for them.
You know, like central Wyoming, for example, you're using that location. PAP is going to be a huge thing, right? So like I've got a great customer, one of my longest customers, a guy named Jim Jensen at Lucky 7 Angus. His operation is based on feed efficiency and PAP. That's what sells those bulls, and that's what keeps customers coming back. So if you looked back at his video page, on every single bull, there was a video, and then there was also a guarantee. Every single bull was guaranteed with a PAP score and guaranteed feed efficient that helps relay that message over and over and over to his buyers that says, hey, that this is what these bulls do, and this is what, highlighting that piece of his program, which to him is very important.
Yeah, that goes back to what you're talking about, making sure that you customize it for everybody, because it doesn't necessarily matter in Central Florida as it does in Wyoming,
Right.
for that specific trait. But so like you guys, I want to ask both of you the same question. Like, I guess for first part of it, what do you see the future like as you move forward? And then of that, like, what do you think the most important thing is that you need to move it forward?
I
And
think
I know I'm stumping you with that question.
I think people, when internet bidding first came out in the cattle sector, and I wasn't around for that, but I've seen it in the horse sector. A lot of the people that were professionals in the industry looked at it. You're just giving an excuse for somebody to stay home. I want them on the seats. People give more if they're here. And to an extent, maybe that's true. But at the same time, with as busy as people have gotten, as complex as everybody's schedules are, giving somebody the opportunity to buy that maybe they wouldn't have bought at all is huge. And as the next generation moves in, as people become more familiar with technology, that marketing and that push with the technology has become more and more valuable. And I don't think the internet is ever going to take the place of people coming to sales. There's a large majority of people, they want to come to the sale anyway. But if they can't, for maybe the kids got a ball game, or they're feeding cows, it's the middle of February in North Dakota and there's a blizzard, it provides that level of service to help them long term stay a customer with an operation. And so, to answer your question, I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to replace it. But over my short career in the business, seeing the internet has become more and more valuable at more and more sales. I think the value of a strong team and a strong platform with a strong network behind it has become more and more valuable.
No, and I think to your point, I mean, this is like, as we all get busier with different things, whether it's family or whatever, I mean, that time away from home is extremely valuable. So I could see I'd say the old school mentality of saying, I want them all in there and I want them crammed in this little small ring and create all this hype. I'll tell you, when you bid on it, it's still the same way online, right? Because you still get the auctioneering and different things like that. But
You still get the heartbeat.
yeah, especially when you're spending too much, right? Or when you're buying the one you want to buy.
You just
Right,
ask for
sure. I don't care if
forgiveness.
you're buying show pigs or Black Angus cattle or Herefords or
Right.
probably some Barrett Jackson auction vehicle or something like that. It's all pretty exciting. Margo, what's your answer to those questions?
I'd say that's probably my favorite part about LiveAg. At the end of the day, we're not just going to continue to produce the same thing over and over again. We're going to never reinvent the wheel. We're not going to do that, but we're going to change with the times also. Like, we're not going to be stuck in our ways. We're not going to stay and say, well, this is how it's been for the last 10 years, or this is how it's been. Like, I think it's a big reason. It's a huge reason why I came to LiveAg, but it's a big thing. We're not going to sit still. And I think that's important. But
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is you guys, you really can kind of just move forward and keep pushing and be a trendsetter, if you will, to keep
and to stay on
driving
top of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to, I would really like to highlight, and I think Margo's the same way. Just the team that we've been able to put together. There's a tremendous group of people that not only do we have individuals that have been in the business for a long time, that are very respected. We've also got a group of young people with some drive that are coming on board and really want to do this from all over the country. That not only is that going to allow our network to become bigger, but it's also going to keep our team fresh. We all know that as people become not necessarily older, but more miles, more experience in a business, maybe they become complacent. I'm guilty of it. And having some fresh eyes, some fresh people on the team to say, hey, what about this? How have you ever thought about doing it this way? Man, that's huge to me. To talk, there's a young man in Colorado, Cooper Carlson, and he's calling people and he's trying hard, and talk to him on the phone, and he's excited and he really wants to do it, and it kind of puts a little fire in my belly too, and I really like that.
Yeah, it's funny to think through that, because I'm not even really, I think back to where I was, 15 years ago, and then like where I'm at now, and like where you're pushing and trying to do things. And then the good I've been fortunate enough to be able to hire a couple of people that are younger in our group, Justin, and we just hired Jaylee Ivy on our team, and she's like right out of school. And man, I thought I was techie like when I was their age, and now I've become this old guy that can barely use my computer or something. And it's having those people around that kind of keep it fresh and keep it moving and keep pushing the business forward. You know, whether you're doing what you guys are doing or doing what I do, but
I think it's important to get them young because this is terrible. They don't know any better. So
Yeah.
they're gonna go out and work, and they're gonna work hard, and they don't know. They're just gonna keep, like, I got brought in right out of college, and I don't know what a weekend life's like. Like, I go to auctions. I don't know that there's other things to do on weekends. Like, it's not my livelihood. That's not. So auctions are number one. And I think if you get them young, they don't know what goes on the weekend.
Oh yeah, like Ty and I talk about this all the time with like our
what do you mean
kids.
people vacation? Like, I go to cow sales.
Yeah, like our kids stock shows, right? I mean, it's almost like we've convinced them that the work that you're doing there is fun, right?
Right.
So they're learning a lesson, they're doing things, and yeah, and then those are the kids that we want to bring on board,
Yeah.
to do this because they do. I mean, work is pleasure to them, and it's insane, but it's awesome to see you guys do that and continue to grow within and bring in some young people because it's definitely
Eat, breathing, and sleeping it.
yeah. And I mean, it's ever evolving. You know, we had Richard Stober on there and he talked about the first video auction and it talked about a 25-pound camera with a coax cable walking around on there. And now where most of your videos are probably done with an iPhone because that's the most
great news. I know what a coax cable is.
I'm young enough. I never had to have one of those.
Oh, well, I was talking to my kids about VHS tapes, and that's just crazy when you think about that. Or something that symbols like a DVD or something like that. You know, they don't necessarily.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
There's a generation of people that don't know what a DVD or
I
VHS
thought
is.
my parents were talking about
rewind.
8-tracks or whatever.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I had a Blockbuster card, and you have to rewind your tapes or you get charged that extra, 30 cents or whatever it was.
Traveling with Blake, I learned a lot that maybe there is a generational age gap that I missed.
Well, the funny thing about Blockbuster is I was telling my kids this the other day. I'm like, we drove by a building in Weatherford that used to be the Blockbuster and it's now a workout place. And I'm like, you know what used to be there? And they're like, because I always point at buildings that used to be something else. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Blockbuster. And I was like, do you know what that is? And Reese was like,
no.
No. And Avery is like, that's where y'all used to go rent movies, right? Uh-huh. And I'm like, yeah, on like a Friday, the movies would come out. We'd go in there and we'd rent movies.
And you had to get in there before everybody else did.
Unless you didn't return your movies on time last time and you couldn't afford to go pay your late fees.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then you had to go get your buddy's card or something like that and sneak them out. But yeah, it's the world's evolved and it's evolved from lots of different aspects. You guys, from a marketing standpoint, continue to evolve and continue to add value and bring exposure and different things to different people's operations. But like I said, you guys have done a phenomenal job. I imagine y'all are getting run over with phone calls on people wanting you to come do their sales and kind of set up things.
Looking to buy or sell farm equipment and ranch equipment? Join us for the LiveAg Equipment Auction December 16th, featuring quality machinery and trusted sellers from across the country, all in one place. Browse listings, bid online, or make an offer without ever leaving your home. Save time, save travel, and find the tools your operation needs with confidence. Have equipment sitting idle? Consign by December 8th to be part of this nationwide sale. Call Justin Stelzer today at 817-533-6699, then press 3, or visit live-ag.com to get started. Thinking about buying cattle or expanding your herd? You need a financial partner who understands the cattle business. Ag Texas Farm Credit offers flexible loans for pasture, rangeland, and operating expenses. Their local lenders understand agriculture because they live it too. As a cooperative, their borrowers share in the success through patronage dividends. Whether you're buying your first set of cattle or growing a legacy operation, Ag Texas is your partner every step of the way. Visit agtexas.com to learn more and get started today.
So if you guys have anything out there from a need, just reach out to Blake or Margo, for sure, because you'll get professionalism and definitely a lot of industry know-how, and then having the fresh face of the newer people that can kind of get out there and do that. So you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't necessarily. I just very thankful for where we're at and what we've been able to do, and I couldn't do it without Margo. So I just really appreciate the opportunity that we've been given to do this.
She keeps you on your toes all the time because you guys definitely have different personality types for sure.
What?
No, no.
In the short
way.
period of time, like Blake's all rigid and ready to go and take care of everything and buttoned up, and Margo's pretty relaxed, right?
Yeah, I am a duck. I'm very calm on the surface. But
Paddling like heck underneath.
I do paddle
There you
underneath
go.
water, and nobody will ever know that there's a crisis
Just
going on.
keep it all bottled up.
Yeah.
Don't let that out.
But Blake has a little bit of nerves,
Yeah.
so
He wants it to go perfect, man. You
But-
can look at him and tell.
all reps are different. Like I will be honest, all reps are different. When we hire new reps, I literally I'm like, if you feel like you're going to get sick and vomit before a sale, it's normal.
Yeah.
Maybe go away in a couple years. Might not. I don't know.
It's never gone away from me.
I can imagine. I mean, but man, you're excited about it. You want to make sure it goes well, and you don't want to let people down.
And
know?
you care.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said earlier, I mean, our customers, they're our friends too. We want to see them have a good day, and it doesn't matter if, it's 9 hours overnight from Nebraska to North Dakota, and you get in there at 3 a.m. in the middle of a snowstorm. That next morning you need to be on your game.
You are the insurance policy
Yes.
when there's a blizzard, so you don't have a choice. Like you get there.
Oh, yeah.
I've driven in some really fun conditions or missed a layover, or I have gotten in a car with 4 strangers from Oklahoma City and we drove to Fort Worth. I'm like, actually vice versa, but we drove from Fort Worth to Oklahoma City. I didn't know them. One was pharmaceutical sales. One was a teacher that flew home from China. It was 4 of the very diverse people that I got into a car with strangers. And
Did you get them to like buy any cattle?
Did you get all their phone
I
numbers,
didn't get no, but I'm Facebook friends with them all.
There you go. See,
that
look.
shows my age. I'm
That's-
Facebook friends with
That's
them all.
building a network.
It
right?
was, right? And I still follow them and I giggle every time I see something. I'm like, oh my God, that was an experience. Like that was just it's I've done it more than once, but that was my favorite one. But the things you do that I literally don't tell my parents. I'm like, it's probably better off they didn't know when it happened.
Was it an Uber or did somebody rent a car and y'all drove?
No, somebody rented a car. The pharmaceutical salesperson rented a car because her company paid for it. So we all just jumped in with her.
Look, and you save some.
It was save money, save gas, met new people.
Well,
it was a lot, but it was one of my favorite sale experiences. I mean, I can still talk about. I can still talk about it.
Yeah, I think
there's some weird situations I've been in my life that we probably won't get on this.
Yeah, I probably don't need to talk about some of those that I've had traveling, trying to get to another one, but driving through big snowstorms and maybe around road closed signs and trying to get there.
I don't break laws. I just needed to make that clear.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but you have to get there. Like you look on the map and it's like it's shorter from here to here instead of going all the way around this detour, and then you're like. They
but
have
the
the
bridge
road
is
all
out.
Yeah.
Funny you should mention it.
Yeah, and then I'm driving through the creek.
Well, Dukes of Hazzard made it.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I've been through some of those things back, and especially when you get into central Nebraska and South Dakota and things like that, where you're like, that's pretty sketchy.
But those people rely on you.
Oh yeah.
And it's their one payday a year.
Yes.
Like you are there, and they're already planning their next auction. By the time you get to their production sale, first of all, it takes at least 7 years to get to your first big production sale. So you get there, this is your first big payday, this is what it looks like, and you're literally trusting the person running the internet behind you with a lot. Like there's a lot that falls on your shoulders. So the stomach nauseousness should be there. But those customers they have a lot of faith in you, but when the sale's over and you take that deep breath when it's over and they're like, and my favorite ones are the ones that look at you and say, what can I do better next year? And you're like, I'm not going to lie, I'm 17 years into this. And I'm like, you're asking me? Like, I'm just your internet person. When I stop and think about it, I actually have been on the block way more than I should be. Like, you're doing great. Or there are words that I can say. Or if something went south, that I never considered myself somebody that was going to give advice. When I started at 22, I just thought I was just sitting there to click bids to, when I first started, I didn't even like turning in bids.
Yeah.
Like making noise and people looking at you just mortified me at the age. And I was like,
have some creative, scream or something.
No, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to regret that this is being recorded.
You got a bid.
I literally told my first boss, I'm like, I can't turn in these bids. but I'll just sit next to the auctioneer. Is that okay? And he said, okay, go ahead. So I turned in my bids to the auctioneer and I just hit his leg. The auction block was open underneath. And the ringmen started making fun of me. They're like, why are you touching his leg? I'm like, I'm turning a bit. I was mortified. So like it forced me to have to just
Come up with
get into it. I was like, oh man, like here we go. Like, so literally I'm like tapping him on the shoulder and he gets to laughing at me. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. Like this is really bad. So I have matured a lot. I've grown.
Now you're hollering at him?
I can do it.
Yeah.
And I have eye rolls that I shouldn't do. And yeah, just.
Yeah, so I've been on the buying side of a lot of these auctions, and it's interesting to watch the dynamics between the auctioneer and the ring help and all that stuff, and then they've got their own inside jokes, and I feel like I'm on the outside all the time, or maybe they're clowning on me because I'm spending too much on whatever I'm buying, But it's I bet you guys have a great time and doing what you're doing.
You should keep your distance from the auctioneers. Like, don't go to dinner with them the night before. Well, you should. Don't go to dinner with them the night before, because I sat on a block just within the last year. And the auctioneer made fun of what I ate for dinner in front of everyone. And I was like, I ate hot wings. Like, what's wrong with a hot wing? Like, yeah. So.
Yeah, and those guys have pretty great personalities anyway,
You have to have a great personality, I think, to be in that setting, to be in the public eye like those guys are, and doing what they're doing. You have to be pretty social and be able to have fun. And if you're not laughing at yourself, if you're not laughing at all, in this business, I don't know what you're doing. It's way too much fun to not.
I love laughing at Ty. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh my God, same.
See, I think most people would do that. But, well, I appreciate you guys getting on here. I think it's been fun for me for sure. It's been good to kind of get in here and highlight what you guys do. And again, if you guys have any questions out there on the purebred side of things, whether you need a sale or have somebody that you have interest in there, or on the buying side, definitely reach out to Margo or Blake for that matter. Again, thanks for joining us on the We Live It podcast. If you need anything from a marketing standpoint, reach out to Katie. I don't know her email, but you can definitely get in there.
Katie at live-ag.com.
Katie at live-ag.com.
Katy.
Katie with a Y. Like and subscribe this, forward it on. Like I said, if anybody needs anything at all, holler at us and we live it.